Tonight, on The Good, the Bad, and the Unknown, Dom DeLuise gets hungry, gets dirty, and gets dancing. Roll the intro. Hello, boys and girls. It's the old friend RJ City, and I'm back with another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Unknown, where I take an artist and find one work of theirs that I like, one that I don't, and one that maybe not a lot of people know about. Today, we are talking about a man that I adore, the most adorable man ever, Dom DeLuise. He was born Dominic DeLuise in Brooklyn, New York, and he enjoyed a long career on Broadway, off Broadway, in TV and movies, and as a voice actor. You may remember him best from the Dean Martin variety shows, the Dean Martin Roast, Mel Brooks films like Blazing Saddles, History of the World Part 1, Spaceballs, Silent Movie, and even animated films like All Dogs Go to Heaven, Fievel Goes West, and A Troll in Central Park. But my good for today both is and isn't a Mel Brooks movie. It is the 1980 film Fatso. Now, with the success of movies like Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, Mel Brooks decided to open his own production company called Brooks Films. They obviously made more Mel Brooks movies like History of the World Part 1, Spaceballs, and Robin Hood Men in Tights, but they also helped put out other films too, like The Elephant Man, My Favorite Year, and The Fly. But the first film out of the Brooks Films gate was Fatso. It was written and directed by Anne Bancroft, who is Mel Brooks' wife, and she appears in the film alongside Ron Carey. But the movie stars Dom as a man named Dominic, who struggles with an eating addiction, dealing with his family, and trying to find love. Even though it's a comedy, it's also very grounded. It's probably Dom's least wacky and thus best acted role, showing a sympathetic, dramatic side that we rarely get to see. Also, this movie contains some of the best shots of food I have ever seen in my life. If you want to watch food, this is the movie for you. So the good is Fatso, and the bad is so bad that I had to read the plot multiple times to make sure I was seeing it right. It is the 1990 action comedy Loose Cannons, starring Gene Hackman and Dan Aykroyd. The movie is written by Richard Matheson, who's best known for writing a bunch of Twilight Zone episodes, so how can it be bad? Well, here's the plot. Gene Hackman and Dan Aykroyd are a cop and detective who team up to find a lost sex tape in which the soon-to-be Chancellor of Germany is having sex with Adolf Hitler. Yes, I said that correctly. Also, Dan Aykroyd's character has a multiple personality disorder, causing him to switch into doing impressions of characters like Popeye and the Cowardly Lion throughout the whole fucking film. Dom plays pornographer and porn historian Harry the Hippo Gutterman, who joins them on their journey and, needless to say, is not a very good one. How bad is this movie? Well, not only did it bomb at the box office, but it currently has a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. In Hal Hinson's review of this movie for the Washington Post, he said, Gene Hackman mostly just stands around watching Aykroyd run through his exertions with the look of a man who has something unspeakable on the sole of his shoe. The most interesting note of this film is that in 2013, footage of the film was found in a Calgary landfill in which a worker mistook it for footage of an actual murder, causing the police to actually investigate. Aykroyd remarked that, quote, "The movie should have been left in the landfill where it belongs." So the good was Fatso, the bad was Loose Cannons, and the unknown is the 1978 musical comedy Sextette. You will wonder why this movie is unknown because the cast has Dom DeLuise, former James Bond Timothy Dalton, Tony Curtis, Ringo Starr, George Hamilton, Alice Cooper, Keith Moon, Walter Pidgeon, Rona Barrett, Regis Philbin, and stars in her final role ever, Mae West. The movie is based on Mae's stage play of the same name, and it's incredibly light on plot. Mae plays an iconic film star staying at a hotel with her new husband who wants to have sex with her, and every other man in the hotel wants to have sex with her too. Dom plays her manager who is trying to find and destroy a tape of her memoirs in which she talks about having sex with even more men. That's the entire plot. A large problem with this film is that Mae is really old at this point, and that led to a lot of issues during filming. The prevailing rumor is that Mae either wore a hearing aid or an earpiece to be fed lines. Nevertheless, Mae did have trouble hearing, so much so that during an elevator scene that took all day to film, she didn't even hear that the director had wrapped for the day, so she stayed in the elevator for an extra half hour, waiting for everyone to come back. As you can imagine, this film is not so good. It is so not good, in fact, that the reason this film is unknown is because the producers couldn't find a major studio to distribute the film, so they decided to release it themselves. So obviously, it did not make its money back at the box office. It was released on VHS in 1982 and once on DVD in 2011, so if you really want to watch men want to have sex with Mae West, this is the film for you. So the good was Fatso, the bad was Loose Cannons, and the unknown, which you now know, was Sextette. But no matter the quality, I still can't get enough of Dom DeLuise. I am RJ City, and this is what I've chosen to do with my life.
Guests of the RJ City Show, subscribe to his channel, follow him on social media, and buy his t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/RJ City.